Welcome to today's Get Motivated real-time laundry motivation video. You guys, we're going to be tackling all of the laundry in today's video, plus a few little hacks. So let's jump right into this video and get started.
Just wanna make it stop. Maybe it's something in the
So first things first, I wanted to jump in here and just wipe down this washer. It was gathering quite a bit of dust, and I really wanted to have a nice clean space to start with so that I didn't have to worry about it and look at it the entire time I'm trying to get all of this laundry done. So we're starting with that. And then here in a second, I want to show you guys a little hack. So this washer has tons of scratches all over the top of it, and I found something that worked to make them go away. So of course, if you do not have a white washer like I do, it may not work for you, but you could always use some acrylic paint maybe that you might have laying around. I'm using whiteout for mine, and I'm just going around and touching up all of the little scratches. And so far, you guys, this has held up, and I have not had any issues with it coming off. And it really made my washer look new again.
would you stay another night? 'Cause I don't know you, but I want to get to know you. Just wanna get to know you. I don't know you, but I want to get to know you. Just wanna get to know you.
To help with further keeping my washer nice and scratch free, I have actually used these little cabinet plastic pieces that kind of just go in for little inserts for your cabinets, and these have worked wonders for me to set things on top of so that whenever they get kind of drug around, they do not scratch the surface. This little canister here I had laying about, and so I actually took my pen holder that goes on the side of the refrigerator, and it magnetized right on there, so it worked perfect for sticking my blue, it's like a bleaching stuff that I use for whites, inside of it. So I just kind of got creative with that, but that is what you're seeing there. And now it's time to go ahead and pull all of this laundry out and start folding it and getting this folding done.
To know you. I was the girl all alone in the corner, drinking by yourself on a Saturday night. You were the guy with your friends at the doorway, pretending that you had the time of your life. Had we met before, instant chemistry, I was so glad you came. Had we met before.
So I would have to say that the majority of my laundry is probably towels. I have towels for all different things. I have towels for the pool, towels for the dogs, towels for us. So there's just tons and tons of towels. And so I always like to take all of my towels first, and I wash those first. I get those in the washer, and I like to wash them a certain way. I use baking soda and I use vinegar in with my wash load, and that helps to fluff my towels and keep them looking nice and new. And so I do all of my towels first, even hand towels and things like that, even my cleaning rags. All that gets done first, and then I move on to the rest of the laundry. It actually takes down a huge bulk of my laundry.
Stick around, still I was thinking we were just friends. Had we met before, instant chemistry, I was so glad you came. Had we met before, laughing instantly, but it didn't feel like thunder or lightning or something.
So here you see me rolling some of these towels. The towels that I roll, I keep on top of my dryer because I actually use those for the dog or for the pool. And so I have those accessible, they're right there. And then the other ones will actually go up into the linen closet where we use those for showers. And I know it might sound a little crazy to use some of the pool towels for the dogs, but I can promise you that these are all sanitized and nice and clean. And we have, you know, our teenagers, and they're in and out of the pool, and they use so many towels that it's just like, yeah, use these, please.
I was the girl all alone in the corner, drinking by herself on a Saturday night. Brand new street and brand new me, side by friends I need. Don't you tell me that you're in town, I already know, couple days ago. Hey, now that our names are written in stone, let's be honest, sounds like home. Still I'm here alone and I'm calling your phone. I wish I could wipe my own memory out. I wish I could dream about somebody else.
So I am the type of person that I do not iron. My husband is not particular at all about his clothing. I actually have to help him be particular because he is so not particular. When we first got married, I ironed all his clothes. He was a school teacher and he had to have pressed pants and all of that stuff. And just over the years now, he's a contractor. He does construction work and things like that. And so his clothes have definitely gone from one extreme to another. So to each their own. There are people I know that, you know, they iron and they do all of the things, but this point in my life right now, I have not needed to do that. And so I honestly just don't. It's just one more thing that I can scratch off my list of things that have to be done. And so I just go ahead and I fold them. And I know a lot of the times, you know, maybe some of our things may look a little bit more wrinklier than the others. So I actually hang dry a lot of my like nice clothes that we go out, you know, we used to go out to eat or, you know, go out to do things. Those things get hung dry. But for the most part, all of our stuff is just folded and put away. I do feel that over the years, I have become very, I guess, structured in the things that I know. I know the things that have to be done, and then the other things I've just learned to let go, which has really been a big challenge for me in my life because I happen to be very OCD about things. But especially being married to the man that I'm married to, he's very set in his ways, and he does a lot of things that would probably drive my OCD up the wall. And so I have had to learn to not be that way in certain areas and just let bygones be bygones and let things go. Because the truth is that it's really not worth the stress. And so the things that need to be stressed over, I stress over, and the things that don't need to be, I let the little things go. Life is just way too short for me to stress over such little minuscule things. And, you know, I think that there's things that bring me joy. Like, I love having a clean space. I love having a clean sink and clean dishes and things like that. But there are some things that I can learn to just let go. And honestly, whenever I do, I find that there is just so much more joy in my life whenever I have learned to just let it go.
Together, if I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can't always stay here forever, 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 forever. I watch you as you sleep. You don't know I'm looking. With you everything's complete. Do you know how much I love you? I put your favorite song on just to wake you up. this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here forever? I'm loving this moment. Can we stay here together? If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause I'm just loving this moment. Can we stay here?
So I thought I would talk about my shirt just a little bit. So the t-shirt that I'm wearing, it says Prophetic Dreamer, and that is actually kind of literal. Like, I literally have had dreams that I have been given, that I feel like have been given to me by the Lord, and then later on they end up happening or coming true. And so it's just a little bit cray-cray, I know, but there have been some really amazing things that God has done through that. I actually have had dreams about people that I have never met before, and then I end up meeting them, and then different circumstances and things like that begin to take place. And there was a reason why I needed to, have the dream that I had, because, sometimes it's a warning about something, or sometimes it's just a, listen, this is getting ready to happen. So, almost to like set me up for hope, for the future. And so anyways, it's just really awesome. I do have some different prophetic dreams that I could probably tell you about. And then other ones are, more personal. But when I was a small child, I don't remember ever having really prophetic dreams or anything like that. But whenever I got into my early 30s is pretty much like whenever it started to happen. So like all throughout my, early adult life, nothing like really in particular. And then as I got into my 30s, all of a sudden I began to have, these amazing dreams and things like that. And so whenever I was younger, though, my mom used to have these prophetic dreams, and I remember I used to think, man, how cool would that be to, be able to have that. And I would hear about the dream, and then I would see the things that would take place and transpire after. And so I knew, this is an actual gift that the Lord has given her. And then for me to grow up, and now I do get these prophetic dreams that the Lord gives me. So I decided that I'm going to go ahead and share one little dream that I had, and this was actually what they call more of a vision, more than it was a dream. So be that it may, believe me or don't, I'm going to tell you what happened to me. Okay, so one day I was sitting in my living room, and normally my morning routine is to get up and I spend time with the Lord. And so I got up and I was spending time with the Lord, and then I had my Bible in my lap, but my Bible was closed, and I normally am sitting there with my journal as well. And all of a sudden, the next thing that I knew, I was just sitting there just listening, because I like to listen to what, God may have to say to me that day. And the next thing that I remember is I was standing at a door. So it was all of a sudden this was happening. I'm standing at a door, and I'm standing there with Jesus. And Jesus says to me, or I actually look at Jesus and I'm like, what do you want me to do? Because the door's closed. And he says, I want you to open the door. And so I reached for the doorknob, and the doorknob, it wasn't working. And so I just looked at him and I was like, okay, well, it's not working. And he just kind of chuckles. And I'm like, what? And he's like, everything here works by faith. So you open the door with faith. Like, you just know that it's going to open, and then it opens. You don't do it out of your physical. And I was like, oh. And so anyways, then I was able, it was like I immediately understood. And so it was like, then I was able to open the door. And it was very important that he showed me this before we opened the door, because when I opened the door, there was no floor. It was like literally this room, and it was a giant round room that had no floor and it had no ceiling. It went as far as the eye could see up and as far as the eye could see down. And all of the lines were lined with books, all of these books. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like just in awe of like what I was seeing. And I could see these angels, and they were taking books off the shelf and putting books back onto the shelf. And I was just in awe, and I'm like looking around, and the way that you moved around the room was by faith. So that's why it was so important for him to tell me what he told me before I opened the door, because then I knew that that's how you moved around the room, and that's how you didn't fall or anything like that. Like it was almost like you just floated and you just moved around. It's hard to even explain. So I'm looking around, and Jesus is near me, but he's talking to an angel. And then the next thing that I know, he says, Rebekah, come here, I want to show you something. And there's this book, and it is sitting on kind of like a pulpit. And so I asked Jesus, I say, what are all of these books, and what are these angels doing? And he says, these are the books of all the people that ever lived before, who exist now, and that will exist in the future. So these are the books of their lives. And I was like, wow. And anyway, so then he starts to show me the book that's sitting on the pulpit. And I was like, well, whose book is this? And he says, well, this is your book. And I was like, oh, well, what does my book say? And he points to the page, and the page is blank. And it was almost as if like, that's your future. Like you know, and then the next thing I knew, I like woke up, or like I came to, I guess. I was in my living room, sitting on my sofa. The Bible was open. So remember, before when I was sitting there, the Bible was not open. It was just sitting on my lap. This time the Bible is open, and it's actually open to this scripture. Let me grab it for you. So the scripture is Psalms 139:16, and it says that all of my days were ordained and written in a book before one of them became to be. So I had no idea that scripture even existed, and up to this point in my life. I don't know why, or maybe I did know and I just never really like paid attention to it, but that exact scripture was sitting right there in front of me. So I just think that it's like really amazing. And then later on in life, I think it was like maybe a couple years later or something, I came across this guy, and his name is Kevin Zadai, or I can't ever say his last name right. But anyways, he like talks about all kinds of different things that he's experienced with the Lord and stuff like that. And he actually, and one of the things that he was talking about, he actually talks about this room a little bit. I don't know if he talks about it in detail like I had experienced it, but he talks about he had seen the books that were also written out. And so it was almost kind of like confirmation of this dream. So I know it sounds so crazy, but that is a for reals deal that happened to me. And I have many, many stories just like that one.
Not blue. blue moon, been 1 or 2 since I ran into you. Do you need a picture? Well, I get so it's hard to take one when your iPhone's full. Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna make you not blue? Not blue. Not blue.
So as you can see, I've been going through and taking this lint roller over the top of some of these clothes. So we have 2 dogs, and unfortunately their hair is everywhere, and I vacuum, I'm not even kidding you, several times a day. But we have a lot of traffic that's going in and out of the house too, but there's still dog hair everywhere. So you would think as much as I am vacuuming, at least it would keep down on the dog hair. But anyway, so normally if there's anything black or a dark color, you're gonna see dog hair like crazy on it. And so I try to do my best to get all of the dog hair off and then hang dry these. And these are my son's clothes. He has a lot of hoodies and shirts and things like that that really just don't belong in the dryer. And so I will hang these for him and put them away so that they're ready to wear later once they're dry.
Against your dark clouds, I will always be your guiding light. I know you're strong, need to get yourself together. Things still get better if you just believe it. Yeah, it's getting cold, the waves are crashing in. When the streams are getting strong, just hold on to me.
I hope that this video has given you so much laundry motivation, and you'll have to let me know what you think about the prophetic dreams that I have. Do you have anything similar that happens to you? Let me know down in the comments. I love hearing from you guys, and I'm trying to get caught back up. Our whole family has been sick and just kind of out of sorts, and then we're about to go on vacation, so I'm trying to get caught up so that you guys have all of the stuff delivered to your doorstep right away. So I hope that you guys are having a fantastic week, and until next time, you guys, we will see you on the next one.